Welcome back to Conversation with Buddy. I'm your host, Buddy Puckett. Well, here we are, another Friday, doing this again. Thanks for being here this week. Hey, are you going through a hard time? Have you had a trial or a tribulation? And I'll say this here. If you haven't, it's coming, right? We all go through stuff. So hopefully this podcast encourages you to just understand that we all go through stuff. It's part of life. So be encouraged and know that God is for you. He's not against you. So I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. I had a text waiting for me from a friend of mine. It was just a picture of where he was at in Scripture. And so it was really encouraging to me. So I began to pray and read my Bible too. So it was really an encouraging morning. But the word I was thinking of is my friend is really disciplined, and I like that. So there's a verse in Hebrews 12:11 says, all discipline for the moment seems to not be joyful, but sorrowful. Yet to those who have been trained by it, afterwards it yields a peaceful fruit of righteousness. So, do you struggle with discipline? I mean, I know I do. Well, today we're going to have a guy out here who he probably hasn't mastered discipline, but he is disciplined. So we're going to talk about that. Without further ado, let me welcome Shawn Abbey. Welcome, Shawn.
Thanks, buddy. Great to be here.
Yeah. Well, I think you are a disciplined guy. I saw your recent post on social media. Dude, you're a bodybuilding, man.
Yeah, I'm getting into that. Yep.
So tell me about that real quick. I want to hear just a little bit. What got you into bodybuilding?
Well, it was actually a challenge. I'll back up a little bit. My little gym life has always been, I always wanted to just lose weight and just be a little more healthier. And I do have some friends that challenged me to go to the gym. And I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and at Greeters. And there's this one lady that worked for a gym and this one friend that also went to the gym, and they challenged me to go to the gym. And I said, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, you're not a real man unless you go to the gym. I said, oh no, we can't do that. So I, of course, went to the gym. Sometimes pride is a good motivator. And so in this case, pride was a motivator. And so I started going to the gym. So fast forward, I'm still with those same friends, still working out the gym. We've become this cohesive friend group that we meet 4 times a week, and we go to the gym and we work out in a class. And a class is good for me for as far as discipline, as far as accountability. And if I'm not there, I hear about it. And if for some reason I skip a day, I hear about it. And of course, the way they say, like, well, no excuses. Why are you not here? You're late. Well, I'm always late, but nevertheless, I'm there. And so fast forward 2 years ago, it was around October, a friend of mine texted me and said, so what's your New Year's resolutions? And that was the most random thing I've ever heard. But it comes, we come to find out, like, I don't even do resolutions because I never meet them, because I never fulfill them. But what she texted me and said, I'm going to sign up for the bodybuilding show, and do you guys want to do it? So we all went together, our trainer in our class, his name is Jared, and so he was kind of forming this group of bodybuilders, and we're just like amateurs, and we don't know what we're doing, but we thought, hey, why not? Just for the journey. Not expecting to win anything, but just for the journey. And it has been a great journey. So starting from October, we started we had a meeting, and then we started changing our diet, and then we started doing different exercises, different movements in the gym as far as weightlifting, and that's what we've been doing ever since.
Dude, I love that. I'm just taking notes here, man.
Yeah.
I need to learn. So would you say, I see you as a disciplined guy because that's what I see you as. Mm-hmm. I mean, you owned a business, for a long time. Mm-hmm. You're a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself as a not disciplined guy? Like up until this time where this person says, hey, join me, would you have seen yourself as undisciplined?
I see that's a good question, because I think we are our biggest critics.
Man.
Right?
Yes.
And so being that biggest critic, I don't see myself as disciplined, but I put myself in a environment where it encourages discipline. Where you got the trash talking friends that, that are there with you and hold you accountable. And of course, I do work with this one, I call him a kid, but I work out with him, and He calls me names when when I lift more than him. And of course, I call him a young whippersnapper when he lifts more than me. And I can't let that go. And
Come on. Yeah.
And so it's having that gym partner that you're working and you're challenging each other.
Yeah.
And since sarcasm is my love language, we just trash talk each other into adding more weight and doing better. And so I don't see myself doing it on my own, but when I have somebody to hold me accountable and to keep challenging me and pushing me, both in business and in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, I've tried to do it myself, and I'm just not that disciplined. But for some reason, when I have somebody to do it with, and I don't want to, if that person does the thing and I don't, this is not good. This bothers me. So
you're letting somebody down, right?
Yeah. So accountability is a big piece of your life, is what it sounds like.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, when it comes to that, it's I think as far as exercising and that kind of discipline, for me, I need other people.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Shawn, that's good. We'll dive more into that maybe later on, the whole discipline thing. But I want to go back to the very beginning. I want people to know who you are. Where'd you grow up? Family. What was the early years of your life like?
I was born in San Luis Obispo, California. Beautiful town.
Man.
Yeah, love that town. Every time I go down back home, it's a place I like to go. It's just a very clean, peaceful town. I grew up there till about age of 10, and then my grandparents owned about 12 acres in Paso Robles, which is about 30 miles north. Mm-hmm. And so the understanding was they figured they were too old to take care of 12 acres.
Yeah.
So they were going to move to San Luis Obispo, and then my dad bought that property.
Yeah.
And then I was raised there ever since. Now, it's the same property he was raised, so there's some history there. Now, my family, the Abbey family, has been pioneers in that area since 1884.
Wow.
And so they came from Great Britain. Okay. And then they immigrated and went to Stafford, Indiana, and then to Kansas City, and then homesteaded a plot of land in Paso Robles, California.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I ended up there. Excuse me. And so from there, fast forward to 1981 when I graduated from high school.
Okay.
And then moved up here in 83.
Gotcha. Yeah. Talk to me about your mom and dad, though, growing up. How did your mom and dad impact you? And I think you and I are the fruit of what our parents, how they trained us.
Yeah.
Or at least, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree is what we say at our home. Mm-hmm. So if my girls don't like what I'm doing, I remind them, So what does that look like for you? How do your parents impact you? Tell me about your siblings.
I had a stellar childhood. Could not be more thankful. Could not be more thankful. Parents raised us well, but I have one sister, Christine, and she's 3 years younger than me. We grew up together. From that point on, I think we've seen each other. We've witnessed each other go through the normal growing up years, but I'd say my father taught me how to work hard and have fun. And my parents' love language was sarcasm, so you just see them bantering back and forth, and I just sit back and I just laugh. It was great memories seeing that. My mom she was a single child, and so what brought these two together seemed like so polar opposites. My dad's mother was Irish, and that feistiness was there, translated to me. And so, but my grandmother was Irish, and then my father inherited that red hair and all of that, and my sister inherited the red hair, so feistiness. And
feisty,
my mom was on the other side of the spectrum, a little more soft-hearted, and I inherited a lot of that. Uh-huh. And so, but those two really complemented each other, and I was really impressed by how, looking back, how they would back each other up and how they were indeed united in their marriage. And it's something that I look back with fondness. I look back with great memories. Yeah. And they just celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary a couple of years ago. Yeah. And so I keep
they're still alive, still married.
They're still with us, and they're still taking care of that 12 acres that my grandparents thought they were too old to take care of. So
are your parents like mid-80s?
They're both 82 and 83.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Still doing 12 acres, man.
Still doing 12 acres,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what keeps them young, though.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
You got to keep moving.
You got to keep
that's
moving.
The secret, man.
My grandfather, as soon as he retired, he went home and sat down, and I think that was probably his. That's probably what took him earlier, and so I think that's probably a big thing. Where when he was diagnosed with diabetes, and so this is a geriatric type, the way it was explained to me, and so then he started walking, but by that time it was too late.
Too late.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
Yep. Tell me about growing up, sports. What'd you do for?
Oh my gosh.
What'd that look like up until high school?
I never excelled at sports.
Okay, that
never was good. I mean, I did football. I started football in my freshman year of high school. Worked out, and a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I have to admit, they came from all over. Some were from the projects. I mean, little town of Paso Robles did have a little project area, but these guys that came from the projects, yeah, they were probably rough and all of that, but they were very, very kind, very good people. I worked with them in auto shop and played with them in football. And I think probably what I walk away from, even though I didn't excel at football, but it was a great time of growing up, learning team, just learning the value of a team, learning the value of keep pushing yourself, knowing that I may never start, but the idea that these guys are beating me up and pushing me around in pads, it makes me tougher. And of course, it helped my hand-eye coordination. It was a great boost for me. Even though I didn't excel at it, it was a great boost. I enjoy basketball, never was good at it. And so I did 1 year of wrestling. That was kind of enjoyable, but I think it was just too long, and I'm too ADHD to focus on anything for a long time. So, yeah.
You play music though, or anything?
I do. I enjoyed playing the guitar in high school. A great friend of mine back then, and we used to get together, and he kind of taught me how to get started playing the guitar.
Right.
And so I'm more of a self-taught guitar player, not really some that really does the leads really well, but I do enjoy music, and I'm more of an eclectic taste. And so playing the guitar was something my father tried to teach me. There's a story back there, but he tried to teach me, but I never could focus until I had other friends that we would get together and play guitars and get better.
Back to accountability. Do with other people.
Yeah, my father, back in the day when he stopped smoking, he had to do something, so he picked up the guitar, and he and my mom took guitar lessons. And
That's a great replacement, man.
Oh, it's a great replacement. Yeah. And so he was trying to teach me, and so I'm like, I couldn't focus, and he kind of quit, threw up his hands, and then probably a year later, I picked up the guitar out of nowhere. He's like, where'd this come from? So I'm playing my dad's guitar, and then, of course, later I bought my first 12-string, and I still have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you grow up in church?
Pretty much, yeah. I'd say probably from the age of 7. There's a story there. At the age of 7, my sister and I would always spend 2 weeks with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And my parents would take a vacation, and probably.
Yeah. Okay.
So we would go, and we had play on the 12 acres and go with my grandma, throughout the day, and just had a great time of playing. But my grandmother, who was not saved, took us to, you just asked us if you want to go to a daily vacation Bible school. We're like, okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, what is that? But I happen to know a friend who was there. So as soon as we got there, we lined up and we're going into the church. It was at First Baptist Church in Paso Robles, California.
Yeah.
And I remember we go through the lessons, we were singing and playing, and it was a great, fun time. But I remember, and this is what I remember, and I'll see this lady in heaven because I really want to meet her someday. But this little old lady came up and told me and this other kid the plan of salvation and walked us through just what that means. And would you like to accept Jesus as your personal Savior? And yes, and she prayed with us. Yeah. I was 7 years old. 7 years old, and went back home. And it was kind of funny. My mom tells this story that we got this little juice can, and this is to save our pennies for the missionaries. Yeah. Of course, we didn't go to church, so I don't know if there's money, but I had to saving money for the missionaries. I'd pick up, find pennies or whatever I'd save. And my mom needed bread money, so she would kind of, okay, got it, and think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But then later, when the whole family got saved, she
like confession time.
Yeah, felt a little guilty of it. I went, that's fine. I have stories that you don't know about either. But yeah,
fair trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah, but so fast forward. We probably a little later, my dad worked with a Christian guy. He worked for Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. And so he started talking with them and debating him and arguing with them. And so he said, here's a book you may want to consider. And so
This guy say this to your dad?
yeah, this guy said this. His name was Roy.
Okay.
And so Roy and this is the book called The Late Great Planet Earth by Hal London. And so my dad, and from then on, my dad I remember my dad reading this in the other room. Listen to this. Tell my mom, come here, you got to hear this. And then they're talking back and forth. And then a couple hours later, listen to this. You know what's going to happen to this world? I mean, all of this really got my dad thinking.
Yeah.
And then we started going to church. And that was at Grace Church in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
And Dr. John Boswell was the pastor.
You remember this?
There's some things I remember, but other things like dates, sometimes I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's, so we, family got saved. The rest of the family were saved and baptized in the church, and we've been in the church ever since.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we've been in several churches. When we left there, when we moved to Paso Robles, we attended Grace Baptist Church and then First Baptist Church. And then in the high school years, we attended a little church called the Tascadero Gospel Chapel.
Yeah.
And that was about 10 miles south of Paso Robles, right between San Luis Obispo and Paso Robles. And so that's where we found a cohesive group there.
Yeah.
I started playing more guitar there, and that's for the youth group. And really, I started growing, learning a lot about myself, learning how annoying I can be sometimes. But there's that. That was a great time.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so your journey began at 7 years old.
Yes.
You believed in Jesus. I mean,
Yes.
obviously there's sanctification where that's progressive, where God's working on us. But do you feel like you've walked with the Lord the whole time? Did you ever feel like a prodigal? I know I was probably a prodigal. You veer here. Do you feel like you walk with the Lord pretty closely that whole time?
My walk with the Lord has been more like a set of rules, I think. And so that was the problem where and a lot of these, looking back, a lot of these are man-made rules.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, there was a time where when we moved to Paso Robles, it's like, can't go to movies, can't do this, can't do that, because the money goes to, all of this. It's that you're building a fence around, what the Lord put together.
Yeah.
But then that fence has a fence around it and then another fence around it. So just to make sure we don't cross any more fences, we put 13,000 fences around what the Lord really wanted for us. And so I'm way out here in these fences. Don't cross any fences, or you would be, sinning and a terrible person and all of that. So, yeah, I would say it's a matter of living my life like through a set of rules and judging myself through a set of rules and feeling terrible if I broke any of those rules. And so a lot of that, it wasn't until really later in life that I started to relax a little bit.
Yeah. I grew up in the same family where we grew up in church. We had the 10 Commandments on the wall, and I couldn't meet the 10 Commandments, right? And I always had this guilt, and you couldn't go to movies, and you couldn't do this, and you couldn't do that. And,
right.
Rules, man-made rules. Do you remember Pastor Ron way back in the day?
Yes, I do.
He would say this: rules create rebellion, but a relationship in God is the only answer, though. So how'd you navigate out of that? What was the answer?
Well, I'd say through the leadership of my parents, I would say during that small section of my life with rules, and they bought into it for a while. But then I think my parents just said, wait a minute. They're looking at Scripture and they're going, I'm not seeing anywhere in Scripture where we can't do this, can't do that. And so they started challenging some of that.
Yeah.
And then the church went through kind of a split, actually.
Yeah.
And there's a whole story behind that. But there's when that church went through that split, I'd say there were some that went to to the rules, and then we went more toward the relationship.
Yeah.
And so that we saw that was around my sophomore year in high school. That was hard for me too, because I'm like, how do I navigate this? I didn't get answers then.
Right.
And so later in life, as my life started growing, and as I started getting older and more gray hair and all of this, I started learning that, wait, that's a rule. That's another rule. So just over the years, it started deconstructing that system of rules. So how I navigated out of that, I would say it was probably a good 50 years worth of life, just slowly navigating out of it.
What's interesting is I read the Bible, I'm a guy, I can see other people maybe missing the mark, sinning or whatever, but I often miss where I'm sinning, right? And so I can create rules around other people. You're sinning, but God's called us to love people. He says, love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's difficult to love people, right? Would you agree on that? Or
oh yeah,
just me?
It's difficult to love people, and it's also I have to remember I'm probably difficult to be loved.
I'm pretty sure I am too.
Yeah,
but that's the calling. God has called us to love others in spite of who they are, and there's no rule in that, and that's the thing. So I think love trumps a rule. Love is a relationship, kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, that's really true. And I think it really wasn't manifest to me until when I sold my business, went through a divorce, and then became a teacher.
Yeah.
And becoming a teacher, it's like, whoa, okay, now I'm out in the real world.
Right.
I'm out in the real world, and I'm really seeing they need us. The world needs us. The world needs us to be in the world.
Yes.
And I have
not of the world, but in the world.
In the world. And I have lived my life completely separate from the world. And that comes back in the legalistic days, we have to be separate. Well, that doesn't necessarily happen. That's not realistic. And from what I see from Scripture, from what I see in my real life, we're out to be in the world.
Yeah.
How can we make a difference unless we're in the world?
Yeah. Well, the harvest it's ready.
Right.
But if you and I aren't out there, doing the work that God's called us to work in the world,
right,
then we're actually of no use.
Correct.
So I totally agree with you. Yeah, pride, pride shows up in a lot of different ways. So sometimes it motivates you to go to the gym and work out, and that's good. But pride can show up where I think early on in my walk with Christ was really self-righteous.
Oh, yeah.
I've arrived somehow, and the rest of the world hadn't or something. But man, it took me a lot of years for God to reveal to me I've fallen short. I still fall short, and so just go love on some people. That's really my calling.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Loving on people, and they're this, so they're that, so they follow this, so they follow that. So I've become a big who cares person. God loves them anyway. And so when God loves them anyway, who am I to say, to cast any judgment on anybody? And so it's a matter of you just loving people in spite of their choices.
Yeah.
God loves me in spite of my choices. Amen. And I think probably when I became a teacher is when all of this started coming into place.
Interesting.
All of this being in the world,
right? Not
of the world, but in the world. So now I'm in the world, and it was a huge eye-opener for me to strip the pride from me, because I have a lot of pride, and it is constantly, I'm constantly stripping that away, and it's something that keeps manifesting itself in me, and I have to remember that's just pride. I have to get rid of my pride. Pride can be a motivator. A lot of us guys keep our cars clean and shiny. We keep our lawns, completely immaculate. That's pride. That's a good motivator. But there's also pride that can be a great destroyer, and I'm guilty of that too. Yeah,
me too, bro. Me too. All right, so after high school.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to high school at?
Pastoral Hills High School, class of 1981.
1981. After high school, what'd you do? What was life like then?
Well, because I think nowadays we see that as far as, after high school, you go to college.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do that. So I went to a junior college, Cuesta College in San Luis Obispo, did that for a semester, and I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for this yet. Yeah, and I don't think I'm not ready. And if my parents kept me back for 1 year in school, that probably would have been fine. Started me late, because I'm a late bloomer, and a lot of us guys are. We don't kick in until we're 25.
100%.
Yeah,
or 30.
Yeah, or even later.
Yeah.
But so I went, and then it's like, okay, I think I'm going to get into the workforce. Let me grow a little bit, and then decide what I want to do. And so I took that year. And so that 1 year I worked for my father, which was a great growing experience. Work hard, have fun, but also I can change lights in a house and I can wire things. I can't get up on a pole or anything like that.
Right.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that would be healthy.
That won't be good.
That would not be healthy for me, and I'd be seeing the Lord early.
Yeah.
But anyway, so after a year, and then my family was heading to Canada, and so I was like, I don't want to. Okay, I'll go. And so my mom and my sister were pestering me to attend Corbin University. Back then it was called Western Baptist College.
Yeah.
Now it's Corbin University.
So wait, you're from California to Canada. Why Corbin here in Salem?
Well, there's a scheme.
Okay.
And I woke up to it later, but they were scheming. But anyway, we were going to go up to Canada, take the Trans-Canadian Highway, and then drop down into Montana. Just take a big tour.
Yeah.
Beautiful country.
Yeah.
I would go back there in a heartbeat because it's just gorgeous up there. So it was just kind of this road tour. So I was asleep in the car, as a teenager usually does, likes to sleep in the car. And so we were coming up through, I believe it was probably Roseburg. And I'm like, I'm taking a nap in the back. And then I hear the car pulling off. And I said, where are we? Oh, what are we doing? Oh, we're in Salem. Oh, okay. Why in Salem? We just gassed up, or we should be gassed. And there's this place you really need to see. I'm going, we're going to Western Baptist, aren't we? And so it was in the summer.
Yeah.
So I was just enthralled by the beauty of the campus, and then we just went there and talked to one of the faculty members. I remember his name was Dr. Bob Wright, and highly respect for him. But I remember I sat down. Let me back up. We went into the reception area. Oh yeah, there's probably a faculty member you can talk to, and because I don't know what I wanted to do yet, and so. But I remember he got out from behind his desk, sat down. He had two chairs in front of his desk. Sat down on the other chair, and I was in the chair. So, and I was really impressed by that, like personable.
Yeah.
And so then when he listened. I was telling him within my babbling teenage, what I wanted to do. And he's like, okay, well, I think there's some things you can do. You can do this and this and this. So I'll put you in touch with this person. And I was really impressed by him. And so he was one of the reasons that I actually attended. Because if he's going to be this personable, can you imagine what all the other faculty are going to be?
Yeah.
And sure enough, that was true. So I got all the paperwork and got all the information that I needed. And my parents were trying to press me to, let's go this fall. I go, no, it's too early. Let's go winter. So I ended up in 1980 to 83. 83 was the winter quarter. And so I started then.
Okay.
And then graduated in 86.
What was your degree in?
Psychology and business management.
Okay. Gotcha. Did you know early on you want to be a business guy?
No, yes, actually, yes. Back in my high school years, I worked I saw my dad start his business.
Yeah.
I was inspired. And then also I worked for a small business. It was a franchise called Coast to Coast Hardware.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of a grumpy guy, but I did learn a lot from him. And he was kind of this grumpy guy, and his wife was very nice and sweet. And so a great marriage.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And so it was a family run. And so I learned a lot there. And I worked hard, but I also learned how to talk with people. And I learned about customer service. And that really inspired me right there. I want to start my own business, whether it's a hardware store somewhere or anything.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to start my own business for my dad, and then also working for the hardware store.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I was going to, and a lot of times people change their major when they're a sophomore.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
A couple of my kids have done that. I've done that.
Yeah.
Other people have done that. And so it's kind of a normal thing. When you grow up, you're like, okay, this is not working. I'm going to go this direction.
Yeah.
And I support that wholeheartedly. And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was going to go church music and youth ministries, and I changed it to, I really want to start my own business. And I'm not sure how to do that because I'm a terrible accountant. However, I'm great with customer service and great with people. So I knew I wanted to manage people. I looked forward to it, and I knew I wanted to prepare to actually manage a business and also manage people. And so that's why I changed it to psychology and business management.
Yeah.
So I can learn that personable. And then from there, after I graduated, I worked for a lighting store, and then I worked at Corbin.
Okay.
for about 4 years, and then started my own business right after that.
When you were here, would you go home in the summer times back to California or Canada or wherever?
Oh, when I was a student?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went home to California. Yeah.
During the summer months?
Yeah,
And, okay.
yeah. I would work for my dad. There was probably the first 2 years of college, I worked at a grocery store.
Okay.
And loved it because I was bagging groceries and working with people. And great.
You love people.
I love people. And I had a good manager, learned a lot from him. His name was Willie, and he had a good management team under him. And then, then the last 2 years I worked with my father.
So you say the word Willie.
Willie, yeah.
This morning, my buddy Will, we call him Willie. I golf with him. He's a fellow brother. He's one that sent me the text this morning with his Bible verse, Willie. So, hey, thank you, Willie. It's kind of funny. But okay, so give me the journey, marriage, business. When did Abbey Carpet Care come along?
That's a great question. When I was working for the lighting store, I still had that entrepreneurial bug that wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah.
But I knew I need to grow more. And so at usually college, you find your spouse. And so I graduated, worked at the lighting store, and then my wife at the time, she still had another year to go. Excuse me. So when she had that other year to go, I also worked at the college. That's when I worked at Corbin.
Yeah.
And then once she graduated, then I finished up at Corbin, and then her father actually owned a chemical manufacturing and also equipment manufacturing for carpet cleaners, a company called ProChem.
Okay.
And so I finally thought, I think I can do that. And so I talked with him, and he said, well, talk to your banker, and I'll see if I can get a package together for you, a used package, get you some starter chemicals and all of that.
Yeah.
And of course, we call them cleaning agents because chemicals is a harsh word. Yeah. Right. And so anyway, so that's April of 1991 is when Abbey Carpet Care was born. I actually walked into a bank and I said, I need a loan for us to start a business.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we need taxes for 2 years. And I went, no, I'm starting a business. Right, we need taxes for 2 years, we can't give you a loan. I went, dang it. Okay, so I walked out. Then I thought a minute. Wait, I walked back in. I need a loan for a vehicle. Oh, sure. And we can give you a loan. Here it is. And so I got a loan for up to $5,000 for the van, and then I put $4,800 on my Visa. Don't recommend it, but anyway, my wife and I at the time had a good plan.
Yeah.
She was working for an accounting firm, very good with the numbers, very analytical, very strong in that. And so she's like, I think we can, I think with me working, and I think we can at least do it for at least 6 months, and then we can kind of see. Sounds good. So I did it on the side, and then jumped in full force, just cleaning carpets, starting at apartments, and then working into houses, and then working eventually 26 years later into high-end homes. And
so cool. Yeah. What a great deal.
Yeah.
All right. So you got married during college?
No.
Or you were fully out of college?
I was out. She was still in college. Yeah. She had another year to go.
Get married. How many kids do you have?
4.
Four kids.
Proud of them.
Names and ages.
Brian, and he's, I'm do the math, 1991 to he's going to be 30. Anyway, he was born in 1991.
Okay.
I'm going to do the math here real quick.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Emily.
Yeah.
And then Jessica, she's over 30. And then Jeremy, he's still in his 20s.
I know Jeremy. I think I know Emily too.
Yeah.
I have an Emily, so that's kind of funny.
That's right. Yeah. Emily and Jeremy are the youngest, and they're all married.
Yeah.
They're all launched. They're all on their own, doing well. Proud of them all. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's so good for a parent to just go, great job, kids.
Yeah. Bye. Love you. Yeah.
Actually, I do miss that rumble in the house, that noise in the house.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed the noise in the house. I'd come home, the TV was on. They're all reading, watching TV, and this is before phones.
Yeah.
So I usually came home, and usually guys need to decompress for about a half an hour. So I would decompress laying on the floor watching whatever they're watching. So I know all about Phineas and Ferb. So all these. Matter of fact, it's kind of funny how some of my students will refer to it, that program,
right.
And I go, "Oh, what about the episode about this? What about that?
Yeah.
How do you know that? You're too old."
Yeah, got kids, man.
Yeah.
Are your kids all local here, or where do they live?
Good question. My two daughters are here in Salem,
Okay.
and my son is in Bend, and my oldest son, Brian, is in Arizona.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
You travel to go see them very much?
I try to, as long as I can afford it.
Yeah.
I
As long as
try
I-
to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plane tickets kind of go up and down. And so
Yeah.
a lot of times I try to get there at least once a year as far as
Yeah.
Arizona goes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we get together. Jeremy will come over for what he's doing for work. And so we usually kind of get together, and I get to sit back and watch the kids banter back and forth and
Yeah.
watch the grandkids play,
Perfect.
go wrestle with them and all that.
Have you learned how to credit card hack to get points to travel for free? Have you done that yet?
Yes, that can get overwhelming.
Yeah.
I do know that in business, I put everything through my Southwest credit card.
Yeah.
And so, and when I sold the biz, or when the divorce happened, I did not know I had all these points, but also I had all this debt.
Yeah.
So there's all this going on. It's like, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
So I keep the points, use them very conservatively.
Yeah.
And then usually on some purchases, I try to keep the purchases 1 to 2 a month, just to keep dribbling points in there. And then when they grow to a point, I can travel.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
you figured it out. That's
Yeah.
good.
You just got to be careful.
Yeah. Hey, what's it mean to be a dad to you?
A dad?
Yeah.
A lot of responsibility, a lot of fun, a lot of leadership, and a lot of humility. I think probably the most thing about being a dad is the humility. You're not too proud to say, "I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Did I offend you? I'm sorry about that."
You sure? I mean, I had an opportunity yesterday to apologize to somebody in my family, It's like, dang it, because my attitude or whatever, but it's tough. But God allows us the opportunity to be humble before Him and before our family. We got to do it, right?
Yeah, you got to push the pride aside.
Got to push the pride aside.
The bad pride.
Bad pride.
You got to put the bad pride aside
Yeah.
and just say, "I'm sorry." And a lot of times with me being a soft heart, I would really beat myself up over that.
Me too.
But it's just, I can't believe I did that. But we're not perfect. And I'm really proud of my kids, how forgiving they can be when I screw up as a dad.
I think to your point, though, I don't look at my parents and go, man, they weren't perfect. They were no, they were great, but they weren't perfect. But I always knew they loved me. And I think my daughters feel the same way. I'm sure your kids do, where, hey, I'm not perfect, man. I'm the first to tell you. But I think what they need to see is humility.
Humility.
I was wrong. I'm really sorry. And really be authentic and genuine about that. And,
It's hard to say that.
oh, it's so hard.
But especially when you're young, you're ambitious, you're prideful, and all of this is going on. Yeah, exactly. But I have learned to just simply apologize and move on.
I think if I'm not careful, I can justify my actions. Well, I'm just really busy. We got to get this done, or we got to do this thing. And
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
but God has worked on the humility piece. Is really, the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience. Yeah, I realize it's one fruit, but man, patience is really, it shows itself when I'm not being patient.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Especially when life gets hard, you find yourself not being patient. I'm totally guilty of that. In my management and my business, times get hard. I'm not as patient, and I have to make sure to apologize for that. I am guilty of that several times over.
Yeah.
And I do hope that every employee that's worked for me, I do hope that they have seen that growth in me, see that imperfectness, but also I do hope that as a result they've also been able to grow.
Yeah,
As a
100%.
person, that's the main thing in business. Is as a manager, you kind of think business is this, no emotion. But I would disagree with that. With business, it takes a lot of emotion, and you have to connect and really earn respect of the people that work for you.
Man.
Not that I need to be respected. No, you need to earn that respect.
Yeah.
And I have fallen so many times in management, but also I have worked very hard that I'm not here to have you make me money. Not only, we need to make money to stay afloat.
Of course, for sure.
However, I'm here, I want to be here to help you in your personal and employee growth.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right. So you had a business for 26 years.
Yes.
You'd gone through a divorce.
Yes.
What made you sell your business? And then what are some of those lessons that divorce has taught you? I mean, nobody signs up for, you don't get married and go, hey, I'm going to get divorced one day. It does happen.
Right.
We see it.
Right.
And nobody's immune from it. I like
Right.
to remind myself and everybody listening, like, nobody signs up for that. What are those lessons that business taught you, that divorce has taught you?
Well, as far as why I sold my business, I'm a builder. I like to build businesses, and I've hit a wall in building that business where it's like, this is as far as I can build it without spending $250,000 on going to the next level.
Yeah.
So in the cleaning world, it's carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning. And then if you're really going to do all this other stuff, you need to get into restoration.
Yeah.
And that is $250,000. That's a whole facility, and that's competing against a lot of big names in the restoration world.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I don't mind competition that brings out the best of people.
Sure.
But it's like, I don't think in this stage in life, I want to be able to get a huge debt to roll that, to try that. And so I hit all the goals I wanted to. I built the business the way I wanted to. I've got people that are working. I got teammates, people that are working for me that are amazing. They are awesome. And so I think it's just time for me to, I'm actually getting bored.
Yeah.
And so it's time to do something else. And I've talked to CEOs, I've talked to millionaires that whenever your business is starting to get boring, that's the time to sell it and do something else. Okay. And at that time, I was young in business, like, no, I'm married to my business. This is my motion. This is all me. But it's not you. Yeah. You have to be able to disconnect yourself from your business, make sure that that business can run without you, and it could.
Okay, good. That's the question.
That's the main thing. This business is able to run without me. You always run your business like you're going to just turn it over tomorrow. You always run your business like if somebody were to offer you, $1 million for your business, you can just go, there you go, and walk. Take your check and walk. Yeah. That is the goal. And so I have built that business to meet that goal. Yeah. And so now that goal I've come to that impasse. Now it's time for me to sell the business. Because I have bought 3 businesses, all from people, carpet cleaning businesses, all from people that were kind of bored, but they're hanging on, but they have no energy to keep pouring into their business. Yeah. And I didn't want to be that. So I wanted to leave on a high. Yeah. And so I talked to Jim. He was with me for 21 years. Yeah. And I said, it's time for me to hand that off to you.
Come on, bro.
Do you want to work for somebody else? Well, I want to work, I can run this now. Yeah. And so, I think he ran it better than I did. Huh. That's my thought.
Jim's a good man.
Yeah, he is. And totally respect him completely. Yeah, and we have bantered back and forth. Sarcasm is our love language.
Okay.
And so I definitely love that guy.
That's good.
And he has really been a help for me as far as personal growth, spiritual growth, and of course, learning how to run a business, managing people. Yeah. And so hopefully I've done everything I needed to do. And so I went ahead and turned the business over to him. And then I worked for Direct Flooring for 3 months until this teaching job kind of fell into my lap.
Yeah. So go back to business real quick.
Yes.
Was there any mentors you had, books you read that could help people in business? Because I mean, I think leading people and managing people, I think it's, I think leading people is one of the hardest jobs you can do. Because if you're leading but nobody's following, well,
that's a leadership problem.
That's a leadership problem.
Right.
Who's your go-to book, mentor? What's that look like?
Early on, it was my father-in-law who owned ProChem. And so a lot of times I would refer and he was always available. Bless his heart. He was always available. Huh. And, managing a CEO with his son-in-law calling, how do I do this? What do I do with this? Yeah. And so with that, he was always available with me, answering questions. And a lot of times he would share with me some inspiration. He thought I was discouraged. I remember one time he thought I was discouraged, and he called me like 3 days in a row, giving me encouragement. I'm like, this is great. You calling me? He goes, I thought you were discouraged. I go, no, actually, but I thank you.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm good. That was him. Yeah. And I always know that when you're in business, you've got to have a circle of friends around you that can inspire you, that can motivate you, that can correct you, and make sure your pride's in check, but also that can help you navigate out of those cloudy waters that business always has, and it's a daily thing. Yeah. And so I've had him, and I've also attended a lot of meetings, symposiums and there's a whole subculture of carpet cleaning.
Really?
Cleaners. Yeah, it's just like a little network. And so it's nationwide, but I was always on the forums. I was always getting information from chat rooms. At the time, I was on America Online. They had their own little carpet cleaning room. And then also just meeting all these big wigs in the carpet cleaning world and now in the restoration world.
Yeah.
All these people that have built businesses, I have always asked them, and that's where that's probably one of the ways I got the advice of when you get bored, time to go.
Time to go.
Yeah, time to go. And so I've had those. I've had, and I've also talked with other carpet cleaners in town, great friends.
Yeah.
And we would have coffee and banter back and forth. Who's the best? Yeah. Well, I'm having coffee with the second best. So
This is
that
funny,
kind of
man.
that kind of banter back and forth. But we also compared notes and bounced ideas off of each other. And I was like, have you ever run into this? What happens when you run into a cat problem in the corner?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we do. It's not a matter of just keeping all this information.
Right.
You share that information and you grow and you get better and you make a lot of friends out there in the business world that are in your business.
Yeah,
you got to get those people around you.
Yeah. Well, show me your friends and I'll show you what your life looks like, right?
Yeah,
We got to be around people that challenge us. The word iron sharpens iron is one man sharpens another man.
Right.
From the word of God.
Right.
But in business, I think we need to have people that will encourage us. I see people in my industry, they isolate. After COVID, we can work from home. We can work from Mexico. We can work from wherever. Well, people love that. There's nothing wrong with working from home. The problem is when you decide that's your full occupation, isolation from home, it's typically the beginning of the end, is what I've noticed.
I think especially in the service business.
Yeah.
Especially in the service business, because you got to get out there and you got to get toe to toe and belly to belly with people. When you're talking to people, you develop that trust, you develop that camaraderie in business. I've learned that from the chamber. And so working in the Chamber of Commerce, getting involved in all of these other events, just volunteering.
Yeah.
And volunteering for all these events, making it as loud as possible. But that's how you meet other people. And that's how you also get your name out there. And that's how you also get that trust out there.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of secondary referrals, even tertiary referrals. And not to mention primary. But primary referrals, it's simply like, I use Abbey Carpet Care, and so here's his number or here's his website.
Yeah.
And there are other people like, I use this carpet cleaning company, but there's also this guy here. If he doesn't work, you may want to try this guy, Abbey.
Yeah.
And so that's the secondary.
Yeah.
And even so, the tertiary ones, like, well, I've heard from a friend of mine that there is a carpet cleaner in town that has done a good job for her friend.
Yeah.
So there's all of that.
Yeah.
All of that is marketing, and all of that marketing is from getting out there, talking with people, getting that trust, and developing that rapport.
Right. Yeah.
It's top of the line awareness.
Yeah. And trust is the key word.
Right.
You can meet people, but if they don't trust you, they're never going to hire you.
That's true.
So how do you build trust? What was your way of, you meet with people, belly to belly, toe to toe. How do you build trust with people?
Well, it's a matter of giving value-added service to your profession. For example, I've heard stories of other cleaners, and they're way out of business now. But they've been out of business for a long time. So I can go ahead and mention this.
Yeah.
But there's this one that they used us, and then we weren't available when they needed another cleaning, and so they called some other guy. He comes in, wrinkled jeans, sagging, and smelling like smoke. And just, kind of mussed up hair. And he came in, didn't take his shoes off, didn't show any respect to the house. And I'll tell you how we kind of about that in a moment.
Right.
But he would come in and, who cleaned this last time? Oh, we used to have, don't use him. I've had to clean up a lot of, so you get stuff like that. And her husband just like, I kind of laughed at that. But I said, so what caused you to come back? And he said, well, you're uniformed. You don't smell like smoke. And at the time, I saw no tattoos on you.
Yep.
That's changed now. But back at that time, they're reading a book by its cover. They're looking how I'm talking eye to eye, and I'm not, looking. Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The phone stays in the car, and or stays in my pocket, and I'm looking at them in the eye.
Yeah.
And what we started bringing in not a product, but a system called value-added service. What that means is we come in, we cover our shoes. We have these covers that we actually cover our shoes when we come in.
Yeah.
And when we knock on the door, we stand 3 feet back. Hi, I'm Shawn from Abbey Carpet Care. This is so-and-so who will be helping me today. And I understand you need some cleaning done. Yeah, come on in. So we come in.
Love it.
And hi, you rascally Rottweiler. How are you?
Yeah.
Please don't bite me.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and so you meet the dog, you meet the cat, and you meet the husband, you meet whoever, and then you start well, walk me through. Tell me what you'd like to do. Our feet are covered. And so we walk through. Do you want that furniture moved? Do you want that stain out? Do you want this? Do you want that? You write down. And then when we're all done, we give them the exact price and have them initial it. Just make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And then we start work. And the way we do that, we leave the shoe covers at the door. If we have to do any repairs, we bring a mat, put the toolbox on the mat. It's that show. And we've used corner protectors when we're bringing hoses in. We make sure that we put a mat out if it's on a hardwood floor to protect everything. It's that showing of respect. And then when they see that, they go ahead, they're fine with paying the higher price because we take more time to do this presentation. But it's that showing of respect. And that's how, when we're talking to them, we show that respect. And so when they see that respect, then they tell their friends. And then also when a lot of times we try to hook them in and just develop that relationship, and that stays solid. Before that, it's a matter of being at all of these festivals and all of these volunteer areas where I can have an Abbey Carpet Care logo with me, and I'm out there helping people.
Branding.
Branding. It's volunteering, getting involved in the community. In this case, it was through the Chamber of Commerce, and being out there, making your presence as loud as possible. 2 ways of showing respect: how you talk to people and how you treat their home.
Man, no, I agree. I mean, we've had people come to our home. We've hired Abbey Carpet Care, and I love the respect that you guys show. I mean, it means everything. Like, these guys are actually taking notes, and actually they care. And so Abbey Carpet Care, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'd rather spend more money and have respect in someone who cares than somebody who gives me a really deep discount that has no respect.
Right.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
It's my home.
Value add, it's that value added service. This gives
value added service.
So I could get this $19.99 a room, or I can hire some high end cleaner that's going to really take care of my stuff, own if they break something, and we've broken things.
Yeah.
And we've owned it, and it's like, okay, what do we need to do to replace it? So we've done that. We've backed into things, we've destroyed things, but we've always fixed. It's like, sorry about that. And
we did it.
Yeah,
it was us.
Yeah. We did that. Just letting you know, and we've already taken care of it.
Ownership.
Ownership of your mistakes.
Just own it.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one. Have you ever read the book Jocko Willink wrote called
The Dichotomy?
Well, it must be ownership. Extreme ownership is what it's called. So Jocko is a Navy SEAL.
Correct.
And so I like his book. If he's at war, if something goes wrong, it's my fault. That's what he's saying. It's my fault. See, we love to blame you. It's your fault. It's your fault.
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
But really, no, it's my fault. I get to accept responsibility. In fact, it may not be my fault, but it's always my responsibility.
As a team leader.
It's my fault.
Yeah. And as a business owner, that I apologize. That's my fault. And I've worked hard to protect people, people that work for me.
Yeah.
It's like, they may have made a mistake, but I've done that too, And so if I get a complaint, I would say, I am really sorry about that. What can we do to fix this?
Love that.
Yeah, get that plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can do this. We could do this. What would you like to do? Oh, we'd like just come out and just re-clean it. Oh, no problem.
Done.
And I would tell it looks like you missed a spot here, but I'm going to have you go out there and take care of that. And I paid him to go back out and you have to do that.
You're a good man.
Yeah, but it's a matter of I got you on the schedule. We're gonna go ahead and just re-clean that one corner there. No big deal. I don't need to holler at them. I don't need to berate them.
Yeah.
It's a matter of just no big deal.
Yeah,
I've done that too.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. This is good, man. All right, what's the future look like for Shawn Abbey? You got into teaching.
Yes,
you can talk about that a little bit.
Sure,
but then. You get bored. I get that. Let's do something new. What's that new thing?
That's been kind of in the back of my mind. Okay. It's the entrepreneurial bug has not gone away.
Yeah.
Now I'm not looking out to start this whole new business again, or start another thing or do anything. But it's kind of in the back of my mind. How can I develop another income stream? So for about 8 years, it's like. I finally calmed down from running a business.
Yeah.
The divorce scars are, all healing.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what's next? That's a great question. So what I've done is, again, I've got great friends around me.
Yeah.
And so there was when I was feeling down, one that was in real estate, a good friend in real estate. Well, have you thought of buying a house?
Yeah.
No. I'm working this, I'm doing this. I'm just this lowly guy, this lowly teacher, not making any money. No, you can afford it. Look, and so you look at it, it's like, even though I was in debt, I could still afford a house. So I'm like,
okay,
well, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, $200 more a month instead of paying somebody else. But I have to break $200 somehow to be able to make this happen. So that happened. Then another friend who I work out with, she said, interest rates are like 3%. Have you thought of refinancing?
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. And I'm like,
$200.
No. Okay. So this extra $200 is actually leaving $500 in my pocket now because I refinanced and wiped out a lot of my debt through that refinancing. And it's like, thanks, Amy. That was awesome. Yeah. And so when you have that friends, because you're out there,
right?
You're not in your house all the time. You're out there with people,
right?
And these people will always come in. They're not trying to sell you anything. They just kind of look at you and go, hey, I think I can help you.
Yeah. Well, I think people get stuck. Isolation is you're working from home, or you're not hanging out with your buddies, or you're not going to the gym.
Yeah.
You're just isolating. You're never going to hear somebody, hey, Shawn, have you considered?
Right.
Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
Well, tell me more.
Yeah.
That's why we hang around people, man.
That's
so
why
we can grow.
We're out there.
I love it. I love it.
COVID's over.
COVID's over.
Get back out there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Get back out there.
Exactly. You got to get out there.
Yeah.
I tell my students this.
Yeah.
Imagine, and this is my first time ever working a crowd as a business owner. It was at Greeters.
Yeah.
And it was at the Reed Opera House with this huge room, probably about 110 people in there. And I'm in there not knowing anybody. And I'm in there trying to promote Abbey Carpet Care. Yeah. How do I do that? So I tell my students, you're in a room, you have about 100 to 200 people in there.
Yeah.
So what do you do if you have to promote your business? And they're like, cry, run away.
Run.
So I said, here was my story. I got a cup of coffee. That was my security blanket right here. And I just started walking around the room. I got this little paper saying Shawn, Abbey Carpet Care. And then just started, and when I met eyes with somebody, I would just go, hi, I'm Shawn. It's nice to meet you. That's the hardest thing. But once you break through that barrier, that first handshake, then it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier. Well, I have anxiety. I know. But
me too.
you have to bust through that little by little by little. You have to keep pushing yourself, and then you'll find that that anxiety is going to subside, wane, even go away. But you have to push yourself through that, face that anxiety.
Right. Action removes or diminishes that anxiety. And over time, you just do the thing. You do it now without even thinking about it. You walk around and, hey, I'm Shawn. I'm, whatever.
Yeah. You work a room. Yeah. And so I don't have that. I don't have to do that now because I'm no longer a business owner, but I still do that. I'm still comfortable in a crowd of people. And I went to as a teacher, I went to the Crystal Apple Awards. And of course, businesses are there, fellow businesses are there. And I remember just going, I'm home.
Well, this is you, man.
Yeah, I'm with teachers, but also there's my business, business people. It's great to be able to reconnect with businesses, meet new businesses, but also celebrate those teachers. Now, you mentioned how I got into teaching. Yeah. If I could just touch into that real quick.
Please, man,
It was kind of funny because I was still on the board at the chamber. I was on a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, and then I remember sitting down and this angel, Kathy Moore, sat down next to me, and she said, so what are you doing nowadays? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not really doing anything, just selling carpets. And she sat down and she said, have you ever thought of teaching? And I went, no. No, really. She said, Roberts High School is hiring for a teacher. They don't want somebody from academia. They want somebody who is who's street smart. And she goes, it's got you written all over it. You should consider. I went, all right, I'll go ahead and apply. Who do I call? I'll have her call you. So she called the vice principal, and then the vice principal called me and said, well, we're already done with interviews, but if you throw your application in, let's send in your resume at this website, and then maybe we can meet on Monday. And so we met on Monday. And a couple hours there as an interview. And then for some reason that Friday, she called up and offered me the job. So I said, yeah, I'll take that job. One question, how do I teach? And she said, she's like, don't worry about it. We'll provide you the information. We'll get you the training and all of that. And so she goes, basically, you just tell your stories.
Tell your stories.
And that's really true. You just tell your stories. So here I am in front of a bunch of kids that who knows they're going to pay attention to me. And so I just started telling the stories.
No kidding.
And I told them, I said, we're not here. I said, we're here to work hard but have fun. But my job is to get you ready for that real world out there. And that real world out there does not care about your feelings. So you have to be ready to punch through your anxiety as kids. And Gen Z is known for it.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to punch through that and get out there and make a difference in the world for you, for your family that you'll have, but also to benefit society. You want to benefit society?
Yeah.
You get out there and you make a difference. And so all of that goes into it.
Question for you.
Sure.
What's your framework when you tell a story? Because, I mean, have you ever heard somebody tell a long-winded story like, dude, you could have said that in like a minute or two, but you took 20 minutes? Do you have a framework that you go by?
Well, I can definitely overtalk my ADHD bringing.
I mean, I think you do a good job, though. I'm enjoying this. Yeah. This is great.
Oh, likewise. But my brain, I have to kind of stop and. How long have I been talking? Okay, I'm okay. So I have to check myself. But there's many times that I will tell a story, and it just comes to me. So it's not prepared. A lot of times it's like I did a lesson on customer service.
Yeah.
So I told the story about how I walked in to a house and this dog was barking, ruh, 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 and she's like talking to me, and this dog's just barking, and she's just talking to me like no, and I couldn't hear her. I finally just said, I'm sorry, I can't hear you with the dog barking. Okay, okay. Sit down, please. And so the dog would sit down. Ruh, ruh, ruh. And so as we're walking through the house, the dog's behind me, barking. And I'm getting the idea. I'm trying to hear her. And this dog is starting to annoy me. So as soon as we turned the corner, I turned around and just started chasing the dog. I chased the dog. I just walked after the dog with my finger up. I just walked toward the dog, and the dog just backed down. Quiet. Done. But the customer didn't see me do that because we were walking around the corner. So I did that real quick and came right at it. What? So and so they enjoy little things like that. So anytime a story comes to me as I'm presenting a lesson, I just give it.
Tell the story.
And even the students said, you should tell more of your stories.
I love that.
So
you ever thought about writing a book on your stories? Because you're a business owner for 26 years. I bet you have 1,001 stories. Oh, whatever house, difficult people, dogs barking.
It's kind of funny. The way my brain works is I have to run into, as I run into a scenario, I'll share it because my brain will pull up that file. Oh, remember?
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting down to write a book, it's like, well, I started here. And so I could probably do it, but I just can't imagine my brain functioning on something like writing that whole narrative.
Yeah.
But I would really like to do that. It's just never been on my radar.
What if you, just as a thought,
sure,
as you're telling a story with your kids, as a file comes up, oh yeah, I remember the story. You just jot down the quick story, and that way later on in the day, that's chapter 2.
That's a good idea.
Chapter 3. Hey, story, Mrs. Smith or the dog barking story, whatever it is, those are great stories, man.
That's a great idea. I never thought of that. I should write that down as I'm presenting.
I get it.
And then as I'm going through, I can actually divide those into chapters. Never thought of that.
So my schedule in the day, I have it all time blocked. It's all perfect, right? But I don't work that way. Okay, call this, whatever it is. I like to I'm probably a little ADHD too. And so I kind of roll with my own. I'm better off just showing up for work. Okay, the goal is to talk to 100 people today. I don't care if text, email, call.
Right.
I don't know. I get into a rhythm and a flow, but if I do it structured, I just don't work that way. Probably to your point too, you can't just pull up a story. Okay, can't do it.
Yeah, but once you're in in that little context, then the stories will start coming.
The stories
come out. And when that's the opportunity to just break away from the lesson and share the story. It'll help reinforce it, but also the students like it. And a lot of times, I've always remembered stories people have told me, and I connect it to the lesson or whatever. And so it's like, I think that's, I don't know if that's standard teaching, but it's just what I do.
I think, I've not always been a great storyteller, and I still don't think I am good, but I'm learning to tell a story when a client needs this. Hey, let me tell you a story about, but I was having breakfast with a buddy of mine. You probably know this guy, but I won't mention his name. He was reminding me of a story I told him years ago. He's a business owner. And so years ago, he goes, yeah, my coach. And he was really pointing to me as his coach, which I'm not his coach, but I used to work for Les Schwab. And so my question is, when did Les Schwab quit changing tires? See, we can all be an employee of our own company. Like if you own your own business and it
Right.
requires you to be there, you're just an employee of your own company.
Right.
But a true business owner is, no, it runs without him. So my question to myself, and I presented to this guy probably 4 or 5 years ago, because I've been working on how to scale my business, right? I don't want to dig the ditch forever, right?
Right.
When did Les Schwab change his last tire? See, I grew up in Prineville, home of Les Schwab. Les Schwab would drive by my house. He was probably 55, 60 in his Jeep Wagoneer, right? That's just his cowboy hat on.
Yep.
He wasn't going to work. He was going to play cards with his buddies
Right.
because he could.
Right.
So the question to myself and to Earl is, so the question is, when do we hand over the baton to our employees and make it a true business and walk away? And so I'm not sure how I got there, but anyway, we're still learning, right?
Yeah, you're scaling your business to run without you.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the business has to run without you. I can't imagine that. No, you have to start imagining it. Because that business, otherwise you're tied to this business. Yeah. Have you ever watched Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay? That's a great, you've got all these stressed out restaurant owners that are in a rut because they feel they have to be there. They have not taken a vacation for years and their marriage is on the rocks. Their kids are, all these relationships are on the rocks. For some reason, they've got all these loyal employees that see something in this restaurant, but this owner, because he's so hands-on, he can't let go, is where it's terrible. I watched an episode not too long ago where they actually removed, told the owner to go take a day off, don't come in, and we're going to see how the restaurant runs without. And there was no returns. Mm-hmm. Everything ran smoothly. And that is the goal. The business has to run without you. Yeah. So you, the reason why you started a business is to create a lifestyle for yourself.
Right.
I want to be able to have this house, this car, this. To do it, I have to have a business. And so when I have a business to fulfill those goals, then they lose their family.
Right.
Because they're always on this business. They're in that rut and they have to get out of that rut. I remember 5 years in, my wife said, go, live, eat, drink, it's all business. It's all business. So everything 110% is in business. And so I'll take care of the house. Don't worry about it. And then about 5 years in, she goes, okay, now I'm going to start needing you to, and I'm going to start needing you to engage a little more in the house because the kids were starting to grow. And of course they needed their dad. Of course I would come home and I'm still stressed. I didn't know how to decompress. And so a lot of guys need that 30 minutes to decompress. So I would say, okay, all I need is 30 minutes to decompress. And so whether that's, I would sit in the car for a minute, or I would, a lot of times just kind of tinker in the garage for a little bit because the noise in the house and daddy, and then it's already, so I would just take that few minutes just to decompress and then switch into home mode because us guys are compartmentalized. And so I'd get home mode. And so once I did that, then I do feel my life really became cohesive as far as work and work and home balance. But you have to be able to listen to your spouse if they're saying, okay, now's the time, everything's fine, we're good. Now disengage from that a little bit and I need my spouse back. And so I listened to that. And I think that was probably one of the best business decisions I've made. After putting 5 years into this, then you got to find that time to disengage, and then you start building the business to work without you.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Well, this is good, man. This has been great.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Absolutely. Yeah. Talking about business, talking about personal, and talking about making a difference in the world, I think is going to be so important for us, especially us that are getting gray hair. It's not the time for us to disengage. It's time for us to even engage more. So it keeps us alive because we're moving around. You're working out. You're actually talking to people in the gym. You're talking to people on the out on the running track, or if you're walking, you're talking to other people on the walk. If you walk through Riverfront Park, you're going to see all these people exercising and engaging in conversation. You need to do that in one form or another. Yeah,
amen to that.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
How do you make your light shine for Jesus now? How old are you right now?
63.
63. You and I are in our last quarter of we're in the fourth quarter, right? Probably.
Thanks for the encouragement. We're in that final quarter. It's not the time for us to disengage, right?
We might be in the late third quarter. Okay, I'll give you that. Late third quarter. Yeah. But how do you let your light shine that people know that where your faith lies? How would you say that?
in your actions, in your attitude, in how you talk to other people. I think teaching has really taught me that, as far as loving people who may otherwise feel unloved. And you're there to just like, hey, look, I know you're having a hard time, and I understand that, but you can get this done, and I'll help you if you'll let me, but you have to get this done. And you're pushing people gently, not with an authoritative idea.
Yeah.
But as a teacher, you need to come alongside and coax these kids into adulthood. And so how do I shine my light for Jesus? I think I could do better, but I think we all think that.
Sure.
But it's a matter of actions, attitude, and you're looking at somebody not by their cover, but not judging a book by its cover. You're not looking at something that is like, okay, another one of these. If they're coming into your store, oh, great, here's another one. Whenever I find myself getting tempted, I'm going to go ahead and face that. If we see some difficult person coming into our store, coming into our restaurant, coming into our place of business, it's like, I can do this. And you're like, hi, it's great to see you. What can I do for you today? And
Amen.
so when you have that attitude, they're going to see that you're different.
Yeah.
And then somehow you may plant that seed that may grow later. You may plant that seed where a student who has deconstructed completely from Christianity can see that, okay, maybe there's something there, and maybe that's something we can do. So it's a matter of, you're not hammering them. You're not throwing a Bible at them. You're not, saying you should.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, what can I do? How can I serve you?
Yeah.
And through those attitudes and actions and affirmations, I think probably the 3 A's, that's how we can shine our light for Christ.
Man, amen. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, because I've been sheltered for so many years, just in the church. I've been involved in church, and that was my huge thing in church. My pride was a lot in church. And so out in the world is where I see that pride slipping away. I still struggle with it.
Sure.
But I see that pride slipping away, and I am more challenged than ever at 63 to make a difference in the world. But it's got to be through the 3 A's, action, attitude. Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
Man, well said, Shawn.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, hey, we're going to wrap up here, but man, thanks so much for listening this week. We appreciate you. Hope that you'll share this podcast with your friends and family. Shawn, if somebody wanted to connect with you and learn about business or have a coffee with you, how would they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me through just through an email, abbey.shawn@gmail.
Okay.
And so they can connect with me there. I'll be happy to just share my life. I'm not sure what I can do with them, but do for them. Do with them. Do for them. But I'm happy to just listen and use my experience and knowledge in my lifetime to hopefully give them the help that they need. Yeah,
I think you would definitely encourage some people. Well, thanks again for being here. If you ever want to be on the podcast, or if you know somebody has a great story that they want to share, my phone number, email, all that information is in the show notes. We'd love to have you, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.